Hello and welcome to another edition of Soulivity Live, everyone. My name is Brian Wesley Johnson, and I am so glad you joined us today. We have such a great show. But before I get into today's show, I want to once again thank our guest from last week, noted author and speaker Kim Sandwood Terranova. In her wonderful book, The Technology of Intention Activating the Power of the Universe Within You, she shares with us her personal journey of discovering the power of intention and how it unlocks the fullness of ourselves, transforming our world in the process. Now, if you missed it, you can see it by going to our website, soulivity.com, and watching it on Soulivity TV, available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So, with that, let's get to today's amazing show. Now, this is an old song, but some of you might know it. It was sung by Dean Martin. It goes something like, "Everybody loves somebody." Well, songs like this one reminds us that typically a lot of us are looking for love with someone, specifically someone to spend the rest of our lives with in partnership and sometimes marriage. The thing is, though, when you're on a journey of passion and purpose, how exactly do you make that work in the midst of the challenges and difficulties you may face along the way? I mean, won't the partnership create its own challenges as well? It certainly sounds like it could turn out to be a big mess. Well, today, I am pleased to speak with the dynamic duo, husband and wife team of Karim and Mamido Souchu. They have been able to navigate these waters, creating a successful life for themselves, their marriage, and their family. Now, Kareem is known around the world as a great success in the world of sport in basketball, but not just because he's playing. He is changing lives and helping children and young adults learn to be the best that they can be. And as a coach for gold, silver, and bronze winning teams, a former successful professional basketball player, or an award winning public speaker, Kareem is an inspiration to all of us in achieving any goal. Now, at a very early age, Mama Doe knew that music had a very important place in her heart. The singing lessons she took at 14 years old led her to a love for jazz and gospel. And as her long, successful career has shown, her distinctive, fresh, clear, flexible voice has been a sought after amenity by the best producers in the music industry. She was a finalist on The Voice in France, performed and was produced by many music giants, and is currently appearing in The Lion King Europe. Folks, we are talking about a true power couple here. So, it is my pleasure to welcome Kareem and Mamadou Sochu to Soulivity Live. Here, let me get them unmuted. Hey guys.
Hey,
Hey,
Hey, how you guys doing?
good,
good,
thank
good.
you.
Oh man, I am excited. It's beautiful to have you here. Um, this is warms my heart, this couple doing it, right? Making it happen. Um, Remember, everybody, we love questions. So if you have questions during the show, please just post them to our live feed and we'll get to as many of them as we possibly can throughout. So, um, guys, I want to take the audience back to where you came from, your childhoods, that kind of thing. Kareem, now you were born outside of Paris, France, in a small town called Salis. Um, what was it like for you in this small town, growing up there? I mean, what was your life like as a young boy?
First, let's go back. My dad was from Senegal and came to France in the early 80s. He
Okay.
was one of the first Senegalese guy to come from there and come work in France. So it was the first wave, like they say here, of immigrants. And he met my mom, and then I was born in 1979. And yes, growing up in France was quite challenging as a young guy, but
Right.
pretty interesting. It was a small city, so it was more a village, and I had to learn how to deal with the French culture, which was new for me. But it's okay. I think I dealt with it pretty good.
Now, did you start playing basketball there?
Yes, I started playing basketball when I was 15 years old. Actually, I started very late. First, I played soccer. You know, here soccer is the main sport. Everybody is playing soccer here, so
Right.
that was the first love of my sports life. And then I decided to play basketball. And actually, I decided to play basketball after I saw the dream team on TV in '92 in Barcelona. You know, Jordan and all them guys. So that's what
Oh,
made me
yeah.
play basketball actually.
Wow. Now, what memories of your parents growing up would you like to share? I know for me, I mean, my parents were good and all that kind of stuff. That sometimes I would be a little mischievous, so they had to pull me back in a little bit. What was it like with your parents there?
I mean, my dad passed away when I was 3 years old, so I
Mm,
was very young. So my mom had to raise me on her own. You know, it was challenging for her, but it brought me a lot of good values in life. You know, like hard work, respecting people, and she taught me all of this when I grew up. So the memory I have, the more memories I have is about my mom raising me by herself and working hard. You know, getting like a couple of jobs to try to get us to eat. Actually,
yeah.
my grandparents were raised me a lot too. I used to go to their house a lot because my mom was working a lot. So I used to stay with my grandparents a lot, and they taught me how to read, how to write. My granddad was very good to me, and and it was interesting because my dad, who was from Senegal, was black, but my mom was white. So all my family from my mom's side was white. So I was raised in a white family, which was also challenging at the time. But the thing I remember is like my granddaddy. I never heard my granddaddy spoke about race, about color, about anything when I was
Wow.
around him, and it was amazing to me because I know he heard a lot of things like from people like everywhere, like but he was always raising me in with the respect of other people, and that's what I remember.
Wow. Thank you for that. It takes a village, right?
Yes.
Mama Doe, you were born in the capital city of the Democratic Republic of Congo.
Yes.
Um, tell me about your experience growing up there, which resides in the heart of West Africa. I mean, there were different times. It was right. You were born right after a lot of things were happening there, right?
hmm Yes, I was born in Congo, but when I was 1 month, um, I went to Belgium. So I grew up in Belgium.
Ah.
Yeah, I grew up in Belgium, and I was going back to Congo every summer, every holidays, but I never spent a year in Congo. Yeah.
Now let's talk about that dynamic a little bit because that means that you were able to see this different dynamic of
Exactly.
being in Africa, in Congo, and then being in Belgium.
hmm
And what was that like? What was that? Can you tell us a little bit how that was for you as a child?
Yeah. As a child, I think I didn't really realize the difference because uh, I told you, my father was a politician. So when I was going back to Congo, um, the different kind of lifestyle was not so different. But I saw the difference when I was a little bit older. I realized the chance that I have to be able to be part of my family, to be able to come in Europe and get the education, have good schools, and when you go back to the Congo, it's totally two different worlds, and you're just so grateful, you know.
Wow, I can imagine that.
Mhm.
Kareem, when did your love of basketball begin?
I was, like I said, I was 15, close to 15. Before that, playing soccer was the main thing here.
Right.
National sports. We love soccer. It's like a European thing. But growing up, very fast. I was six. I would say I was 6'6" when I was 15 years old. So people told me, you're quite tall to play soccer. You should try basketball. And I decided to try to play basketball, and the rest is history. I went on a trial, and I went actually on a tryout by accident. I went with one of my friends who was trying out for a pro team.
What?
And,
Okay, wait.
yes,
What? You went by accident?
by accident, yes. Like actually, they called me. Like my friend was going for a tryout with a professional team to go into their school. Like they have like small school, like they call here,
Mhm.
to to get to the professional level. And he called me and said, "Listen, I'm going there. Would you mind coming with me? I don't want to go by myself, and just take a pair of shoes just in case." So I said, "Okay, no problem." So I took a pair of shoes with me. It was like 4 or 5 hours, 5 hours away from my house. And once we get there, one player get hurt in the team. So the coach saw me on the side and was, "Oh, would you mind practicing with us?" So I say, "Yeah, no problem." And at the end of the 3 days tryout, he kept me and he didn't keep my friend. So I'm like, wow, I was not even supposed to go there. So that's what happened. Yeah, that's what happened. That's
Like who, me? You want me to
I
play?
know, right?
Um,
So
Similar question to you, Mama Doe. You were taking singing lessons early in your life, but when did like music, like, okay, I love this. When did that begin for you?
Oh, I can't remember because I think I was just in love, in music when I was kids. I have five brothers and six sisters.
Hmm.
So everybody was singing at home. And my cousin, they were in the music industry here in France, and so they called me to come in the studio, and that's why I start to sing for background vocals for a lot of famous people. But
Wow.
it was just natural. I can't remember. It's like my daughter Ella. She's singing all the time. She's in love, in music. She is a real passion, and it starts just naturally.
Wow. Okay, so I've got a similar question for both of you. So I'm going to go to you, Mama Doe, first. When was your first real performance? Now, I'm a musician, so I know the difference.
A
What-
real, what do you, a real performance? Uh,
yeah, like where you got paid for it. I'll put it that way. That first where you got that money, you did your singing performance and you got paid for it. What was that first one for you?
yeah, I think in front of public, or because the first reel where I got paid, it was in the studio.
Okay.
Yeah, when my cousin called me to come to sing for it was the verse for rappers.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think the song was like it was La Voix du Mélo. The song was a very huge success here
Hmm.
in France, and it was the first one, and it was really strange because to hear my voice on the mic, it was really strange because I used to sing at home, never to really hear my voice, and yeah, it was the first one. I was 15 years old.
Wow. Okay. So you got me beat. It took me a couple of years after that to actually make some money at it. Kareem, what was your first official basketball game? Do you remember?
my first official basketball. Oh wow.
Yeah.
I guess when I went to Dijon, like I was explaining you, that's when I
Hmm.
realized like basketball became serious. Before that, I used to really play with my friends, and then I came to a place where I practiced maybe like 4 hours a day. 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the afternoon. So
Mm.
that's when basketball like started to become serious for me.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Yeah. I mean, um, once you get that first little taste, and then it's like you just keep running with it after that. Like, okay, well, yeah, I can do this now. I can actually make a little change off doing this. um, let's turn to how, I think a lot of times people look at people like yourselves or other people who have had success in their lives, maybe great or small, and they think that, oh, well, this was just overnight. Like, oh, well, they, like Kareem, you practiced a little bit and then you got discovered and boom, it just happened. Or Mamadou, you're singing and all of a sudden, boom, it just happens. It's like, no, the three of us know that's not true. I mean, we're blessed. We've had our success. But to both of you, the question I have is, do you remember, like, you want to pursue these professions, you love it, you're in love with it, you want to make this your life's work, but you have a heartache, you have a heartbreak, and you have to move. You're like, okay, for me to go to the next level, I have to get through this time. So Kareem, I'll go to you first. Do you remember that moment, that moment for you? I mean, you don't have to go into many, but just one that you remember.
I would say, I had the chance to go to the United States. I went to Furman University in 1999. I had
Wow.
the chance to get a scholarship. So if I take you back from at this moment, like in France, when I first went to Dijon, I didn't know how to play basketball really, and the coach
Mm.
telling me that I don't know until this day. I'm asking the guy, "What did you see?" He say, "You will see when you will be a coach, you will understand." Now that I'm a coach, I understand what he was saying. So it took me 4 years in France. Like from the day he told me I could be a part of it, I had to prove myself from day one. 4 years after, I was MVP of the league here for the youth. And this brought me a scholarship. Like Furman University, it's in South Carolina, very good school actually. And they
Mhm.
came all the way to France and they recruited me. And I
Wow.
went there. And my hardest point was, and I always say that, it was the first week when I was in the US. So very different culture. The basketball is not played the same way. It's very different. And when I got there, and I remember I was in a swimming pool and I was like, what am I doing here? I'm away from my friends. I'm far away. My mom, I miss my mom. It's very far. And I was like, do you want to quit or do you want to go? I said, no, because you didn't come that far to just quit right now. And 4 years after that, I became the fourth all-time leading scorer in school history at Furman University. And then I remember the day I was in that swimming pool and I said, like, you see, I didn't quit. And at the end, it was worth it because I'm in the history of the school now. So that's the point, and that's the moment I remember.
Wow. Thank you for that, man. Thank you. Wow, powerful. Mamadou, how about you? Do you remember that moment for you where you had that heartbreaking challenge that you had to move through to get to the next level?
Yes, I think it's when decide to come in Paris to live by myself here.
Mm.
I was living in Belgium. I was working with, because in Belgium they speak French, but the very big market for the singing is here in Paris. So I was working in the studio and working for and singing in French in Belgium. And sometimes I was coming here to have some TV shows and work in Paris, but it was hard for me to leave my family and to decide to to move to Paris. And when I decided to move to Paris, it was really challenging, but I have no regret because one week after I met Karim.
Oh, now see, I was gonna wait till later to ask y'all to get in your business, but since the door just kind of opened up, I'm just gonna like go on it. So tell me, you said you met Kareem in Paris.
Yeah,
How
I met.
did you, what was what was that dynamic? How did you guys meet?
So when I arrived in Paris, I already have connection, and so I went to sing in the studio. And when I was in the studio, one of the guys said, "Oh, you have like a Belgian accent because you have two different French accents, from France and from Belgium." I said, "Oh, actually, I'm from Belgium." And he said that, "Oh, I know a girl that is from Belgium. This girl was at school with me." So I gave him my phone number. She contacted the Sunday. I arrived on Sunday, and the next Sunday she contacted me. She came to see me at my place, and she said, "Oh, there is a great party, so come with us. We're gonna go to the party together." So I went there, And when I went there, it was actually in a nightclub.
Okay.
Yeah, in a nightclub. And at the end of the night, one of the, I think it's Karen's friend, because I didn't know him. He just took me and he introduced me to Karen, and he told me that he wants to talk to you, and he told Karim that I wanted to talk to him. But
Okay. So there
So
was a little setup. All right, go ahead, Kareem.
that's the that's her side of the story. So I'm gonna tell you exactly what happened. But it needs to be clear.
yeah,
So that was a party. Actually, it was Christmas. I remember I
yeah,
was on a
Christmas.
break. That was my first year as a pro, and I was
Okay.
playing in Lyon, which is 4 hours away from Paris. So
Yeah.
some of my friends told me, "Oh, come, there is a party tonight. We should go out." Like the season was pretty rough at the time. So I said, "Okay,
Mhm.
let's go." So it was in a nightclub in
Yeah,
Paris
in
on the
Paris.
Champs Elysees, actually.
Champs-Élysées, yeah.
And the entire night, and she can tell you, I was sitting down because I didn't feel like being there with my friends. I was just sitting down on one side of the club, just enjoying myself, like
Yeah.
cool, my friends were there. And then that's true. One of my friend came to see me at the end of the night, and he was, "Oh, you see, she wants to talk to you." I said, "Oh, really?" And he said exactly the
The
same to
same,
her.
yeah.
So we ended up like in front of each other, like, yes. And she said, like, yes. I said, "But I don't know. You want to talk to me?" And she said, "No, no, no. You want to talk to me." So anyway, so we start talking, and that's when the versions are different, cause that's exactly what happened. I asked her what you doing, and she was like, "Oh, I'm singing." I said, "Oh, all right, good."
No,
And
no.
then let me finish.
I'm a singer. I'm a
I'm
singer.
a singer.
Yeah.
And then she asked me, "What do you do?" I said, "Oh, I play basketball." And then she said, "No, what is your job?" I said, "Yeah, I play basketball." And she was like, "No, but what is your real job?" I said, "Okay, let me tell you again. I'm playing
I
basketball." That's
love it.
You look so young. So I thought that, yeah, you love to playing basketball, but do you study? Do you do something, for real in your life? And you say that's my job, and I was just like,
yeah.
okay.
So and then we exchange our numbers,
Yeah.
and we start to talk. And I'm glad I have my sister-in-law, because she told me exactly what happened after. She went home and she was, "Oh, I met that guy. It's nice." But
Your
no,
sister told on you.
I didn't really care. Yeah, she cared because she was like all happy and stuff. And me too. I was happy to meet her. We start talking, and I think 2 weeks after you came to visit in
Yeah, in Lyon.
in
Yeah,
Lyon.
it was my
Mm.
first time because Belgium, it was so small. I never gave my phone number to in the nightclub,
Right.
because yeah, because
Oh.
you can meet. But the thing is, when I arrived in Paris, I was just like, oh yeah, it's cute. And also, if you want to have friends, give your phone number. It was the first time ever that I gave my phone number to someone in the nightclub.
So
Yeah.
All
that's
right.
why.
What was your first date? Your first date. I mean, that was not a date. That was a hookup. But was
Yeah,
your first date?
first date. So it sent me like a week after a text, and he said, "Oh, do you want to come to Lyon?" And I said, "Yes, why not?" So I took a train. It was like 2 hours by train, but I was crazy because 2 hours by train. I didn't know him. I met him only in a nightclub, and I went to his place, and I was not supposed to sleep, but I stayed
Yeah, you still.
one night, but nothing happened.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, nothing happened, and yeah, and after that is history. Yeah, we just when we were talking, I remember the first conversation we were talking. Do you want to have kids? And he said, "Oh, I want to have
Wow.
2 kids. Yes, me too. I want to have 2 kids." And yeah, yeah, it was just like it was magic.
Yeah, it was like
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Kareem, what was your okay? Now you had seen her before, but now she's like you asked her to come to Lyon, and what was going through like? Oh, dang, she actually said yes, and she's coming. So when she got there, what was going through your mind? I mean,
Like what I remember, and I went to pick her up. I was out of practice, I think.
Yeah.
So I was wearing sweatpants and everything. And in my mind, I was like, "Oh, if she's okay with that, she's good. She's the one." So she didn't say anything. I pick her up, and actually, there's a funny story with the car, but I won't get into this. But
Oh,
uh,
now see, don't tease now. You can't got come on.
I'm gonna tell you what happened. That was funny. Like to me, it was.
Okay.
I went to pick her up at the train station, and I was on the outside parking lot. And I don't remember what car I had at the time, but anyway, I had like a SUV at the car, and right next to my car, there was like that. I mean, like a messed up car, like old one and everything. And the more we get close to the car, and I could see her face, like, oh, don't tell me that's his car, right?
No.
And then I did like, beep, beep, and she was like, oh, okay, good.
like, like
So that was the funny part. She said no, but I know she thought about it. Like when you
No.
saw the
well,
part,
uh, it's okay. You know, you're like, okay, well.
I
Okay.
mean, it was really messed up. The car next to her was really messed up, like old, old,
so,
old.
so Mama, when you saw his real car, you're like, whew, okay, I'm good.
No, that no. I didn't care.
But that was funny
Yeah, that
anyway.
was funny.
So after that, we went to
Oh man.
we went
So
on dates and stuff. So it was good.
Wow.
it was a distance relationship because I was living in Paris and he was in Lyon. So it was, yeah, and it was busy. He was playing. I just moved to Paris for my singing career. So it was really challenging, to see each other, to find time to be together. Yeah.
Wow. Well,
Hmm.
I definitely want to know some more about that, but
Hmm.
we're going to take a quick commercial break first. So when we come back, we're going to continue this conversation about and getting into more of your business, which I'm loving it. It's so wonderful. I mean, the stories of how people come together are just, treasures, right? I mean, you guys are going to treasure this for the rest of your life, tease each other too, which is part of it. But everybody, we're going to take a quick commercial break and we'll be back with Kareem and Mamadou Souchu. So hang tight and we'll be right back.
Have you ever asked the question, if I was to be anything, what would I be? Regardless of money, regardless of status, beyond popularity and fame. Living your passion, feeling your life has purpose. Soulivity is a space to nurture that which lives in all of us. A place where work can become play, and doing what we love creates the dreams of a lifetime.
And we are back with Kareem and Mamadou Souchu. Um, all right, so we're gonna get back into this discussion about y'all business here. Um, Mamadou, you were talking about before Kareem was traveling, but he was based in Lyon, France. You were in Paris, France, and you had this connection, and it was difficult for you to keep that going through that time. How do you feel? I'm going to ask both of you. How do you feel how you got through those moments? Because I know it had to be hard.
Hmm. For me, you have to believe it. you
Mm,
know I really believed it, and a lot of my friends, they were just like, oh my god, he's a successful basketball player, he's living in Lyon, he's having fun, just forget it. I was
mm,
just, no, I saw something in him, and I knew it was the one. So it was, sometimes we had ups and down, but it's about to believe it, to have faith, to have
wow.
faith. And when you have faith, everything is possible, you know?
Wow. How about you, Kareem? What were some of
Same.
the things that you were thinking about during that time?
Be patient, and allow yourself to get to know the people you are with. That's the most important. Learn how to deal with your partner, what he
Hmm.
likes, what he doesn't like, and also like you have to yourself, let yourself, I would say, believe, like he says, like believe and take time to discover that your
Mm-hmm.
partner. That's the main thing.
And take
Wow.
time. I think it's time and believed, because sometimes you can just be afraid of things that, oh yeah, it's not with me all the time. But the thing is, it got traded
Hmm.
to Belgium, so Belgium was closer to Paris,
Yeah, absolutely.
and so we were closer, so we were able to see each other more often
Hmm.
than when he was in Lyon. But it was like 2 years, 2 years after. you you're not gonna have the perfect person, the perfect relationship, and the all in one time. You have to be patient. It's with time, but you have to keep the faith. You have to believe it and keep the faith. And and I think one thing is you have um to do, how can I say, to make faire les choses bien,
To do the things the right way.
to do the
Mm,
things the right way, and to do good in relationship,
okay.
even when the person um, doesn't deserve it. Yes.
I'm going to do a snapshot of that face, Kareem.
Ah,
'Cause
I'm
I wear because listen, I wear that face too sometimes.
about
So
what she says, and I'm just
I,
thinking. In life, it's like a lot like that. Actually, I was thinking because I'm coaching right now, and that's a lot of things that I say to the kids and to the adults I'm coaching. It's a lot of the time is like this. Sometimes you do things like you don't know, like will hurt people. Sometimes you do things that will please people, but at the end of the day, you have to be happy with yourself and you have to be happy with what you can do. So
Mhm.
that's exactly the state of mind you need to have.
wow. Another quick question for you, Kareem, or it might be for you, Mama Dog. When did the proposal come? Kareem, when did, you proposed, of course, right? When did you know that okay, I'm ready?
When I was I think when I was in Belgium, and I
Okay.
was like, maybe it's time to take it to the next level, next step.
Hmm.
To have like a strong foundation of a family, and then we decided to have kids, and having a family for me was big too. Growing up without my dad and
Yeah.
only with my mom, I was like, I don't want my kids to experience the same thing. So I want to have a strong foundation for my family and my household. So that's why I decided to make the jump, and that's what happened. So it was in Belgium, and then
Okay.
we
Yeah.
had to do it two different ways. One was the traditional wedding. She's from Congo, and in Congo, like the groom has to go to the family and meet the parents, meet her dad, her uncles, her brothers, and let them know what you want to do. You need to bring presents.
Hmm.
It's
It's
like
a
a ceremony.
Yeah,
Like
Right.
yeah.
Right. Right.
Like they used to do it in the whole. It's a whole
yeah,
way.
for
Yeah,
them it's even more important than the real wedding that you
yeah.
do
It's for
actually.
the ancestor.
Hmm.
You have to do it, and you have to pay. It's like you paying. You
It's
have
like
to bring
it's like
money.
paying, but like it's not just about money. It's like
Yeah,
more respect also to the
Respect.
dad.
to
So
that.
for example, her dad like made a list for me to bring, but the list was to me was funny, but it's very like it's traditional for like
A suit.
African
Yeah,
clothes, a suit,
a suit,
a
scarf.
tie. I
Yeah,
had to buy a goat for the village that
yeah.
that they sent to the village, and everybody had a party with that.
Hmm.
Hmm.
What else? A bike. I had to buy a bicycle
For one
that
of
we
the
sent from
Wow. Okay.
in
Yeah, yeah,
Africa. So small things like this,
yeah,
and then you go, and the dad, if he accepts the present you bring him, it means that he accepts that you are taking his daughter as a
yeah,
future
yeah,
wife. A funny thing is like if you're not married to her yet, you cannot kiss her in front of the parents,
yeah,
stuff like that. But then it makes it even more powerful when you
yeah.
decided to make it to the real wedding, like
Hmm.
we could say. And then yeah, that was
Yeah,
interesting. I
yeah.
like it. I'm a big tradition guy. I like especially being from Africa. Like we all
Hmm.
are very attached to that.
To get.
Wow. Mamado, as the future bride, and you're seeing Kareem go through these traditions
Hmm.
of paying respect to your family,
Wow.
how did that make you feel?
I was so proud. I was so proud, and especially because like one 2 years before, my father was very sick.
Mm-hmm.
So and he almost passed away. So to have my father with me and in front of my family, I was very proud. When I was a kid, all the traditional wedding that they have, I was just like, no, I just want to have, like, the wedding that we have in Europe, all the traditional
Wow.
one with, with the coat and this. I don't want that. But when I talk with my mom, and my mom said that, is something really important that we have to do. And I think it was even better for me to do that the big wedding that we had after.
Wow. It made it more special for you.
More
Actually,
special.
more special for both of you,
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
right? You know, I always remember my grandparents, and then my parents would tell me about, we stand on the backs and the shoulders of our ancestors, and that paying homage to them is absolutely foundational to our growth. Right? You can't know where you're going if you don't know where you've been,
Exactly.
right? Um, Mamido, you talked about your father. Let's talk a little bit about him because he was a very, very influential and important person in the history of your home country.
Mm-hmm.
What is his name?
It's Justin Marie Vomboko.
And he was responsible for many important things in your home country.
Mm-hmm.
Things like he signed the Acts of Independence there.
Mm-hmm.
He was part of a new era for women's rights there.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the other things that you heard about this man who was a giant in terms of leading this nation into in terms of like back then? I mean, some of
Mm-hmm.
the first democratic
Mm-hmm.
places that were there.
Yeah.
What was it like for you? I mean, tell us a little bit more about him and what he means to you.
Oh, it means a lot. It means a lot. Um, because it's coming from nothing, he was raised in the jungle.
Mm,
And so you have some people who colonized the country. They were sending some religious people to teach, to give education to kids.
mm-hmm.
And so they realized that he was gifted, so they gave him education. And after that, he was the first African to came in Belgium and to have a degree in science politic.
Wow.
And when he had his degree, he came back to the country, and with some friends there, they were ready to become independent. So I'm just proud. Um, it's a invisible pressure that we have,
Oh yeah.
that we can, like, every day we can do things right, and everything is possible, and you can change people's life and what we're doing. I think what we're, even in the music, and what Karim is trying to do with the basketball, is change people's life, bring a positive message. Yeah, so it very inspiring, what he did for the country. Yeah, that's what I
Wow.
feel
You
about
know,
him.
as I hear about both of your lives, I can't help but feel and even think that one it just because of your stories, I know that you are part of a continuing tradition of giants, right? I mean, these people went first, or they tackled, you know, what some people may think of as insurmountable things. I mean, moving to a new country, learning the language, having your family, raising this family. So I think that both of your lives are a testimony
Hmm.
to their life and what they were bringing to you into the world. So um, thankful for just being who you are and continuing tradition. And I know that you're passing this on to your children as
Yes.
well. Tell us about your children real quick. What are their names?
So we have three children. The first one is Elijah,
Elijah
Tamia, and Ella.
and Ella. Wow,
Yep.
beautiful names. How old are they?
14,
Oof.
12, and 4 years old.
Oh, bless your heart. That 14
Hmm.
crossing it. Yeah, we went through that too. So I'll pray for y'all. Do you see? I mean, I know that at 14, she's probably now moving into like things that she may consider her life's dreams. Do you
Hmm.
see that in the three of them, or things that they're kind of gravitating toward?
So
Hmm.
one is already doing. I mean, 14. My son is 14 years old,
Yeah.
Elijah, and actually he's with us right now. But he spent his first year in Spain. He decided to
Wow.
follow my footsteps, and he's playing in basketball in Madrid. He spent the first year over there by himself. He was
Yeah.
in a host family.
What?
So
Yeah.
I left my house when I was 15 years old to play basketball. So he left 1 year before
Yeah,
I
13.
did. So he was 13. He was a little bit early. And I went with him actually on a tryout there. And he tried for the team and did very good. And I asked him because I never pushed him. That's
Hmm.
one
Hmm.
thing I was always willing to not to do, is to push my kids into something they
Yeah.
don't want to do.
Yeah.
So I decided to let him discover himself, let him do whatever he wanted to do. And last year he came to me and was like, "Dad, I'm ready. I want to do like what you did." So I said, "Okay, let me get some phone calls." And I with my connections, we got there. And after 1 year, he came back and he ended up being the best scorer in his team. So he spent a great year, and they are taking him back next season, and he's starting to have a little buzz around him over there in Madrid. With the social media now, you have like all kind of videos, highlights, and stuff.
Hmm.
So people over there start doing that. So it's good. So he knows already what he wants. I
Hmm.
think I gave him my competitive nature, because I asked, "Do you want to play like me?" He said, "No, I want to play better." I'll say, "Okay, now
Oh, oh, oh,
ready.
oh.
He's
You're like,
ready."
sit down, young one.
Sometimes we have
Yeah.
to go through little one-on-ones to make him, to let him remember
Who's the boss?
who is the boss. But I think he's gonna be a good player. But then I always tell him, you never know in the professional world, like especially in sports, singing is the same. You never know what can happen. So get an education, because you
Yeah.
can get hurt and never play basketball again.
Hmm.
You have to be ready for whatever happens. And I'm
Hmm.
very big on education.
Oh yeah.
But right now he's doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Wow. So he's just focused. He's like, he just knew and he's like, Dad, I'm ready. I'm gonna go do this.
Yes,
Yeah. And
yes.
Wow.
also what I love is not afraid to try new things, because before that we spent 3 years in Atlanta, so we learned how to speak English. Now we can speak English,
Spanish and
Spanish,
French.
and French,
Hmm.
and not afraid just to go to another country without your parents, and trying uh, to achieve your goals and living your dream. I was really proud of him, to just let mama and daddy and go to another country by
Wow.
himself. Yeah.
Wow. What about the other children, the other two? Do you see some talents and abilities starting to come up that they're like focused in or interested in?
So the
Hmm.
second one, Tamia, she's 12. She's doing actually she's playing tennis. She's doing the violin
Oh,
and
tennis.
the horse classes.
And
She
acting.
and acting as well.
Yeah.
So she's like kind of like try to decide what she's gonna do.
Yeah.
And the little one, 4 years old, she's singing every day.
Yeah.
Look
Yeah.
at my face when I want to rest.
Ah,
She's singing.
voila.
So, but she's not just sing. She sing.
She
I
sing.
mean,
Yeah.
wow,
Oh,
yeah,
It's something. She's very
amazing.
special.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
wow.
that's funny. So she's actually knowing all the songs of the, what's the show you watch? Empire.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Now all the Disney songs.
Yeah, all the
All
Disney
the
songs.
Disney.
But unbelievable. So she's doing
Yeah.
all the choreography and everything. So I think she's going to be an artist. But
Yeah. Yeah.
never know. Never know.
Wow, amazing, amazing. Well, if they need an agent, just let me know, and I'll. um, it's again, this is this through line, right? And I want people out there to just see this, right? Where there's this through line from your parents, even the ones that have transitioned on to
Mm-hmm.
you guys down to the children, where they're following where their heart is leading them with
Okay.
some wisdom. Because one part that you talked about, Kareem, was look, you never know what life is going to is going to hand you. So make sure you have an education,
Yeah.
right? It's a tool. It's something not just to fall back on, but to prosper from, right?
Mhm.
Um, couple of more questions and then we'll kind of wrap up. We're talking about your family. I wanted to bring up the children and in your relationship and that kind of thing because it feels like there was these principles that the two of you connected with when you first met, as you dated, that were even part of when you came together as in marriage, that continues into how you're raising your children.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us a little bit more, and I'll go to you, Kareem, first about this, and then Mamadou after. Tell us about some of the guiding principles that you feel that are at the foundation of how your family and your marriage, how that holds that up and strengthens that and makes that strong.
First, I'm gonna come back on education first. To me, two principles are very important, and I hope you will understand clearly what I'm trying to explain. First, I always tell my kids like you never know who is watching you.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you do, you never know. You can be at a place thinking like nobody is there, thinking that you are not doing something good or like nobody will like it. At one point, somebody or someone will look at you and be like, look, this kid has potential. Maybe we can do something with him. That's why, like when I coach, for example, I always tell that to my players. Do your best, do go
Mm-hmm.
100%. You never know
Yeah.
who is watching you.
Yeah.
Because if at one point you just do something halfway, half speed, half,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
people will be like, he's not as motivated as he sounds to
Yeah.
be. Or maybe he doesn't want to be here. So, do we want to invest in that guy? Maybe not.
Mm-hmm.
That's that's one of the principle I'm very big on. You never know who is watching you.
Yeah.
So always do
Always
your
give
best.
your
And
best.
at one point, somebody will notice you.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you really pay attention to our stories. Like everything came with one thing. We were willing to go and travel and look around us
And
and
learn.
see other culture. Something that struck me when I was in America is like people in America, they don't like to move too much. They stay in their own state or
Mm-hmm.
their city. Go see the world because
Yes.
you will learn everything that is happening right now. I mean, the times are very difficult here in France, in America.
Yeah.
We're going through like the same
The same.
problem.
Yeah.
Right.
Learn from other people. Like staying in your own community or not willing to learn from other people, that's leading to what is happening right now. You know,
Yes.
I'm mixed. I'm always saying I take the best of the two cultures and make it a nice melting pot. That's my style. That's what I
Mm-hmm.
always say. So I know it's like different cultures in different communities and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
but try to make it like the best out of it. You can change it. Nobody else. If you expect people to change, nothing's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Make it
Right.
change. So travel, learn. I have a friend of mine, good friend of mine. He was at Furman University with me, coming from the Bronx. Nobody expecting him to do something.
Yeah.
He ended up working in the White House with Barack Obama.
Yeah.
And
The
he was like, I mean,
assistant
he was the
of the
assistant of the
of
chief
staff.
of staff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
That's his story is amazing. And I
Amazing.
was like,
Amazing.
Mo, like you remember we were playing basketball at Furman. Would you imagine that you would do that? And he told me, you know what? Traveling
Yeah.
made me realize that I had potential. I saw other cultures. So be be willing to learn from other people, from other
Yes.
cultures. And you would see the world differently,
Yeah.
and your education will change. And me, because to move when I was 15 years old was not easy. My mom didn't want me to go. I was very young, but she let me go. That's why I let my kids go as well. And like that, that's you
even
learn.
when you were playing, every 2 years we were changing cities. We were moving all the time. We never spent. We were together 17 years, and we never spent more than 3 years in the same city.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mamido, how about you? What are some of the principles or principle that for you, in addition to what Kareem just said, that are like keep your family strong?
Um, I think like what Karim says, something very important for the family to discover the world, to go to learn about people, about the world, what's going on in the world. And I think one thing very important, I think, is faith. You know, yeah,
Talked about that before.
to put God first. You know, in your life.
Mm.
I think is going to come with your behavior, with what you want to achieve, you know, in life. um yeah, I think this is something really important that I'm trying to teach the kids also, you know, that, to put God first.
Wow. I
Yeah.
love it.
Hmm.
I love it. Look, we got a question that came in, and this one's for you, Mamado.
Yeah.
This is from Sasha. Hi, Sasha. Uh,
Hi.
she says, as a mom,
Yeah.
were you fearful of letting your son go to another country on his own at such a young age? How did you manage that?
Oh.
Good question.
Yes.
I know
Yes.
that's your baby.
Yeah, it was my baby. It was very scary, and but um, what we he was living with the family, a French family that we didn't know. It was friends of one of my cousin who lived like only 1 year in Madrid. So
Mhm.
it was very scary, but I know my son. I think we gave him very good education and good value. So we believed in him. You know, he knows what was wrong, what was bad, and it, yes, just it was very fair, but you have to try things, you know. You can just not, you know, let your fears control your life. I don't like that. We don't like that. I don't think so. So and also I think my son was ready. The experience
Mm.
that we have in Atlanta, the fact also that we moved every 2 years, 3 years for, you know, for the basketball, he was just ready. He was just ready, but it was really hard. But you know, is the part of the dream. You know, it's hard. Everything is not gonna come up like this. You have to make some sacrifices.
Right. Right. Wow. Thank you for that. Wow. You know, the things that I'm hearing is that you as parents, you wouldn't have let him go if you didn't think he was ready,
No,
No.
no,
right? And then on top of that, um, him being ready meant that you had to have faith in what you had taught him
exactly.
so that he was out there. Yeah, he's going to do the right thing. We know he's going to do the right thing.
Yeah.
He's going to, you know, remember, lean on what we've taught him, what his ancestors meant. I mean, all that kind of stuff. Wow, so powerful, man. Um, while we have time, I want to kind of talk to you about. I said in the opening that basketball may be the umbrella of what your professional life is, but a part of that is giving back, is changing lives, is doing the things as a mentor and through coaching and that kind of thing. Tell us a little bit about the Hoops organization that you've built. Tell us, you know, look, this stuff is important to me because I, like our ancestors, the you know, more responsibility, more success means the more you have to give back.
Yes. Yes. I would say like you said, basketball is a nice umbrella. Why? Because you can teach kids, touch kids also through their souls. You like listen. you have a chance to play basketball, to get an education with basketball, to get to go to school at the same time and get a scholarship. I'm trying to tell them like sports can change your life. You know, it's just not about dribble. It's not like I remember when I saw that on in the US when one reporter said shut up and dribble. No, it's not just about that. It's so deeper. It's so much deeper than that. I mean, kids all around the world are willing to learn, but a lot of them cannot because their parents maybe don't have the money, or they don't have the education or whatever. So through sports and with hoops, what I was doing is going to schools and through 3-on-3 basketball, because I'm coaching 3-on-3 basketball. I was organizing tournaments, teaching kids like how to play, but also how to behave, how to handle like difficulties, problems in life. And through sports, it's so much easier to teach that because kids are much more open-minded when you talk to them, because sports is their language. It's like today I was talking about like social media and stuff like. If you talk like that, they understand you. So sports is something universal, and you can teach kids, teach people a lot of things through sports. So that's why I did with hoops, and hoops also is helping like a professional athletes when they want to train, practice, and stuff like that. But these people, it's a little bit different because they are already like settled. But like the young people can really achieve a lot if you take time, if you really like take time to educate them, to spend time with them. A lot of them, for example, they don't have a father figure at home, which so as a coach, so a lot of time you are the father figure, so you have to give them life lessons, and it's very powerful, and you learn a lot from the kids. I learn every day, and I'm coaching like different categories. You know, I have like under 18, I have like seniors, everything. You learn, they learn from you, but you learn a lot from them too. So that's pretty much like a summary of what I could say that I do.
Wow, man, powerful stuff. I mean, again, and you never know in the future where one of those kids is going to be, like like your friend in college, Mo's now up on, was working for the president of the United States at the White House, right?
Yes.
Like you just never know.
But it was
Um,
for the previous one
oh
for
yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. No, we're not. See there, you're gonna get me in trouble now, you know.
no, it's just facts. It's just facts. No, but you know, I have other
44,
examples.
not 45.
Yes, exactly. But you see, I have other example. When I was at Furman, I remember one friend of mine was at the time a scout for the Dallas Mavericks. His name was Amadou Gallo Fall. He was their main scout. He used to come and see us. He's from Senegal. Now he's the director of NBA Africa. He became the main guy. Him and Masai Ujiri, who is the general manager for the Toronto Raptors. These two guys are doing so much for basketball in Africa. They are like the faces of the NBA in Africa. And I met
Wow.
Gallo when he was just a scout, and now he's like probably the most important guy in Africa for the NBA. And he built
Wow.
academies, schools, and a lot of things. Like he's a good friend of mine, and that tells you if you keep believing and doing what you do at the best level you can do, at one point something good happens. And these guys changed the landscape of basketball in Africa by just believing in themselves and learning and stuff like that. So you see, you always, like I say, you never know who is watching you. And Gallo was doing his job the best way, and I think that the big guys believed in him, and now he's in charge of the NBA in Africa. So I mean, examples like this, I can give you tons of them. It's like that's why I'm a hard worker. I work hard because I know good things happen when you work hard. It's
Well,
challenging.
it shows. It
Yeah.
shows in the success that you guys have, and the grounding principles that you guys have. I know everybody, we're a little bit over, but I'm having fun. So if it's all right with Kareem and Mamadou, we can spend a couple more minutes and then we'll wrap. Because I definitely want to get to, and on our friends on Instagram, you can come see us at Facebook, because I know Instagram cuts us off a little bit earlier. So come on over to Facebook and you can see the rest of this interview. Um, I know, Mama, that we were talking earlier about the Lion King.
Yeah.
And I wanted to make sure that I got this in because I mean people around the world know the success of the Lion King
Mhm.
and you know, the big Disney hit, you know, on stage in Broadway for years and years and years and that kind of thing. But there is, for people of color,
Mhm.
black people, the Lion King represents something even deeper
Yeah.
for us. Now, I
Mhm.
know what it means for me. What does it mean for you to be performing? And you're going to have a long stint. I mean, you got another 3 years to go with the tour.
Mhm.
What does it mean for you um, as a person of color working in the Lion King?
Wow. It's amazing experience, a lifetime experience. I really wanted to be part of uh, this show, to the one of the Broadway show, but this one,
Yeah.
because of the story of the costumes, the all the different, all the different people of color that you have from the cast, like the cast that we have for the UK tour. We are 17 different countries.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that's amazing. You're learning from people from South Africa, from Nigeria, from Trinidad. You have people from Shanghai, from, it's amazing, from Singapore. So it's amazing experience. It took me 7 years to be part of the Lion King. I auditioned, the first time that I auditioned, I didn't make it. But I work hard. I took, because I was only a singer, so I took some acting classes. Everything is not overnight. You have to believe it. You have to work hard. So it took me 7 years, and finally, uh, um, I'm in, and it's just a dream come true. Yes.
Wow. I mean, we were talking earlier about how we were both saying that it feels like home. Like you're doing your love, your profession, you're
Mhm.
singing, being in music,
Mhm.
and it feels like this is like home,
Yeah,
right?
like home. Is exactly. This is like home. Like every night, you see the story moved you. About the story about all the singing. We sing in Zulu, in the African language, in Swahili also. So yeah, it's just like you feel like home, and just have the chance to perform with people of color, and that story and the quality of the show is just amazing. Yeah,
Wow. Well, I'll tell you what, both of you are amazing.
thank you.
Um, and I mean that. Um, as I said before, and I meant every word because I always do my homework on everybody who I interview. And when I said in the beginning that you guys are truly a power couple, I meant that. And the power isn't just money and fame and all that kind of stuff. The power is what you represent as a individually, as a couple, in your marriage, in your family, what you're giving to the world. The next generation that you can already that I already see in your children that's going to be doing even more great things.
Mhm.
I remember as you talk, I think about the things that my father said to me when I was young, and that is, um, my hope and dream for you is that you far exceed any success that I have accomplished.
Mhm.
I
Right.
want you to go out there and blow the doors off of that and be happy and joyful. So I think that that's what you guys are doing. Um, One last question, and then this is a question from our audience, and this is from Lysandra. Hi, Lysandra.
Mhm.
Um, as a couple working together, what is your top advice for others? And I'll go to you, Mama Doe, first.
Can you repeat the question? As a couple
As a
working?
couple working together,
Yeah.
what is your top advice for others? So, what advice would you give to others about that working together?
That working together. I think we. I think it's patient. You have
Mm.
to be patient. You have to listen to each other. I think the communication is very important. You need to talk. You need to, if you know, to be together 70 years. You have ups and downs. So the what can I how can I say, because it's in French, I have to do the translation.
Right, right.
Ups and down, but it's about commitment.
Mm.
That's the word. It's about
Wow.
commitment. Be patient, listen to each other, and first of all, love. I think the love gonna keep you, keep all the relationship and all the things, tight.
Right,
You know,
right.
and
Kareem, what about no?
I
Kareem, what
would say
about you?
that you have to also understand that you might be working in two different worlds, you
yeah.
know.
Mm.
So my problems might not be her problems.
Hmm.
My solutions might not be her solutions, or what she's willing to have as a solution. And also, the communication is a big aspect. And also, I would say, don't bring me. I'm trying not bring my problem homes. When I'm home,
Ah,
I don't like to talk too much about work, like, or my problem of work. I'm trying not too much to bring negative stuff,
Hmm. Hmm.
like we already like have a lot of pressure because we are experiencing a lot of pressure in our field, like
Yeah.
me as a professional coach and her as a professional singer.
Like this
So
year, we are not
yes,
living together this year.
so
ah,
so you have to enjoy when you're home
Yeah.
and be in peace. I always say, like, I want to be peaceful when I'm home, because you got other problems. You have to deal with the kids who they have their own problems.
Yeah.
So try to be home peacefully, and that's the main thing, like the pressure you're experiencing every day in
In
your
your work.
work
Yeah.
is already a lot. So when you're home, you have to make your home like a peaceful household,
Yeah.
and when you do that, you're ready. When you step outside of the house, you know that you're going for the fight,
Yes. Yes.
but when you're home, trying to be relaxed and to
Hmm.
be peaceful is, to me, is a big thing.
Yeah.
wow. Well, look. I had to take some liberty and extend this a little bit because you
Hmm.
guys have so much to share. And would you come back
Oh
in
yeah,
the
Yes.
near future?
oh
We
yeah.
can talk about some other stuff.
Yes.
And I appreciate both of you being here. I really do. Merci beaucoup.
Mm.
De rien.
Kareem, enchanté.
Ah, très bien.
Enchanté.
Good French.
Ah,
Your French is
mon
good.
petit.
Un petit peu.
J'étudie. Uh, do Ani?
2 années. Mhm.
2 années.
Yeah, do Ani.
Ok.
Uh, whew, it's tough. I'm learning to think in the language now, to
Ok.
think in it. So, no, but thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Again, this is so powerful. And I think that the story that you guys are living is going to be inspirational to many people out here,
Hmm.
both as they're going through their individual journeys, but when they are in a relationship with somebody and they
Hmm.
Mhm.
need to find that inner strength in each other
Yeah.
to keep moving through. So thank you so much.
Well,
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Um, and so you guys are gonna come back, and I'm gonna make that happen. So,
great.
so just stand by. I'm gonna tell people about
Hmm.
next Saturday. We have so much good inspiration coming next Saturday. We welcome author and speaker Jennifer Adams to talk about her new book, Love Coming Home, and how each of us can learn to change our homes into an environment where we love to come home to. And TV host and actor Brandon Johnson joins us to talk about his new show, Fully Alive, and how each of us can live more freely and fully every single day. So don't miss that show. And remember, don't forget to check out Soulivity TV, available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, just for you. And airing live tomorrow, our regular Sunday lineup for Self Care Sundays, morning yoga with Michaela, the Style Brunch, and live with Jesse and Melva, or as I call them, Mom and Dad. So you don't want to miss that. Check out our website for more details. So, on behalf of myself and my new friends, mes amis, Mabibo and Karim Souchu, thank you again for being here. And we want to say to all of you out there, thank you for joining us. See you next Saturday. And until then, I want to say, wishing you passion, purpose, and high quality living. See you next time. See you.